A landmark case against tech giant Google has wrapped up in the US, with the judge imposing new demands and restrictions on the company, but stopped short of forcing it to sell its Chrome browser and Android system. Google spends billions of dollars a year to ensure it is the default search engine across many devices, a practice that the judge had previously called an illegal monopoly. Professor Gina Neff is Executive Director of the Minderoo Centre for Technology and Democracy at the University of Cambridge, and she joins me now. Gina, good to have you with us today. As far as this judgment is concerned when it comes to Chrome and Android, do you see this as a big win for Google?
Google have already announced that they will appeal both the anti-competitive ruling and this ruling today that found what remedies the company should do. It shows how rapidly AI is changing the search market. The Judge Mehta, made the argument that he was being asked to gaze into a crystal ball. How is AI going to change search? And if it makes search more competitive, makes Google face more competition, then maybe some of these harshest remedies weren't necessary.
Yes, and what do you then make of the conditions for Google that it has to share data with its competitors in the search arena? How might this work, and how is it even enforceable?
The government and the judge echoed that user data is really the oxygen for the search market, and that Google basically shored up their own advantage and maintained and extended that through anti-competitive practices. So by sharing data, that's seen as one way to remedy and shake up the market. However, startups, including DuckDuckGo, one of the competitors, have said that actually they don't think the data is going to help them compete in this market. And the worry that many of us have are twofold. One, what is going to happen in the generative AI market? What's going to happen with companies like ChatGPT and OpenAI when they start integrating more data into search? And what's going to happen to user data? So on one hand, sharing this data as users, we didn't sign up for this to be shared across many different companies. However, there may be privacy-enhancing technologies that help Google be able to do this to help increase fairness.
Yes. And what do you make of the ramifications of this decision? Because there are other big tech firms that are facing antitrust cases as well.
This isn't the first antitrust case that's been found against Google, but it's certainly one of the biggest, and it goes to the core, the heart of their original business. They've been found to be anti-competitive both in the Play Store and anti-competitive in their online ad marketplaces. The challenge here is that this was really one of the first big internet anti-competitive searches cases. Meta is facing one around its behavior with WhatsApp and Instagram, and whether they shored up an unfair advantage there. So people have watched this one pretty closely. It was opened under the first Trump administration, and so it now comes full circle, having this findings being released now. It's not the last word we'll hear in this case or the others.
Yes, and of course not the last word for Google either. It's got more legal troubles coming. It will be defending the operation of its online advertising business that's accused of being an illegal monopoly as well. What's expected to happen with this case?
Well, with the ad business, Google maintains a global dominance in the tools that are being used to show ads on the open market. We haven't yet seen what remedies will come out of that case. And the challenge that's faced in both of these cases is that Google has become such a dominant player that it's hard to see what remedies actually, short of breaking up part of the company, what remedies could take forward. The worry is that as Google develops its AI business, that it actually entrenches these early advantages into a completely new market. So for example, when a chatbot answers a query, is that ad search, is the advertising opportunity that's going to be there with AI agents, is that going to run through Google? And it could be enormous amounts of money that are at stake in the future.
Yes, and it's come to a point where anyone that opens their own online business one way or the other, or have a presence in the internet, has to have Google as their partner in a way, isn't it? It's going to be hard to argue for businesses to kind of take a deep dive and take a bit of a risk and move elsewhere.
Well, absolutely. And just to take one example, we've been thinking about what search does in terms of building up the material for AI to train on. People want their websites to be found. The challenge is they want people to find those websites, and they want people to come to those sites. If Google, the dominant search engine, becomes the dominant way that we interact with in the AI age, interact with the web, then they may shortchange those companies that are relying on people to read them. We're already starting to see some of this challenge in the AI summaries that are provided at the top of Google search, for example.
Yep. And speaking of AI, ChatGPT is going to introduce parental controls after this sad case in the suicide of a teenager in California. What are some of these measures that ChatGPT is trying to instill?
OpenAI has come forward to say that they will allow for parental controls onto accounts so that parents can link their account to the accounts of their minor children. Critics, including the plaintiffs in the California case, argue that this isn't going far enough. They argue that these tools were released into the market without proper safeguards and guardrails. They're irresponsible in terms of how they're persuasive and really showing people and amplifying what they want. Some independent audits of these tools have shown how asking ChatGPT, for example, I'm having a really bad day, tell me where the nearest tall bridge is. They won't actually go into that language that helps keep people and users safe. So there's a lot of work to do to keep these tools safe. And Australian regulators and lawmakers will continue, I'm sure, to be looking at this case.
So, Gina, beyond these parental controls, what do you think perhaps might be something that will strengthen safeguards for apps like ChatGPT?
Well, already we know that apps like ChatGPT can be trained on data that's incredibly dangerous. Data that's scraped from the darkest, worst corners of the internet has been used to train some of these cases, and that often humans have to go back through and edit out that truly terrible things. We need better safety by design, and that's what several of the high-profile legislation that's been both in the UK and in Australia has pushed for, that we really push for ensuring that we're not asking the companies to voluntarily do this. We're demanding that they make products that are safe. We'd ask for that in pharmaceuticals, cars, and every other industry. We can't let generative AI off the hook on this one.
Yeah, certainly. Gina Neff, really good to get your insights into this. Thank you so much.
Thank you.